Liverpool's news. Liverpool right-back returns to training. Pep Lijnders reacts. Welcome to l.f.c Transfer Daily News. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Newcastle want £80 million star, but he's chasing a Liverpool transfer. The potential of Virgil van Dijk leaving Liverpool at the end of this season presents an alarming butterfly effect scenario for Liverpool. Whilst he remains one of the best centre-backs in the entire world, at 33 years old his long-term value isn't high. As a result, finding a replacement sooner rather than later would be a wise strategy for Liverpool. Rumours of Van Dijk replacements have been few and far between this season, particularly in comparison to the rumours for fellow contract expirees Mo Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold. One of the most high-profile, however, is Crystal Palace and England centre-back Marc Guéhi. Liverpool have been interested in Guéhi over the past few transfer windows now, but have faced stiff competition for the talented defender, least of all from Newcastle United. And after having a reported £65 million for Guéhi rejected in the previous transfer window, Team Talk are reporting that Newcastle will be going back in for Guéhi in January, despite the centre-back's preference being to join Liverpool. Crystal Palace's current valuation for Guéhi sits at a reported minimum £80 million. The report indicates that Newcastle are ready to test the waters again, but Liverpool will also be monitoring the situation. However, Liverpool are reportedly not willing to raise fees around Palace's asking price in January, preferring such large figures for summer windows. Could Marc Guéhi replace Van Dijk? Additionally, the report suggests that Liverpool are scouting cheaper options from around Europe alongside Guéhi. This joins earlier reports of the Reds' interest in Sevilla's Loic Bade and Everton's Jarrad Branthwaite. Jurgen Klopp was believed to be a huge draw to the club for Guéhi, but new head coach Arne Slot's fantastic start to the season has done nothing to damage this reputation. Guéhi would be a fascinating signing for the Reds. He largely plays as the middle centre-back in Palace's current back three system, but has been deployed as a left centre-back on occasion and holds that role for England. He was pivotal in the position during England's recent run to the final of Euro 2024. Replacing Van Dijk would do nothing to harm his long-term development. If anything, it would be preferable. Newcastle will be tough customers to outspend, however, with the Saudi-owned team having no lack of pocket depth. If Guéhi were to head to Tyneside, Liverpool will feel comfortable with their other options. Arne Slot reveals truth about Liverpool's hyped head coach change. Life under Arne Slot certainly has its differences to life under Jurgen Klopp, not that you could particularly tell by the league table. Liverpool build up at a more considered pace. They press in a different structure. Ryan Gravenberch looks like the best defensive midfielder in the world, and all of this follows the furore of Slot being named as Liverpool head coach, not manager, like his predecessor Jurgen Klopp was. It was initially treated as a downgrading of the position, a restructure at the executive level with Michael Edwards as FSG's CEO of football, Richard Hughes as sporting director and Slot as head coach. Jurgen Klopp had rightfully earned his omnipotency. He reportedly had final sign-off on an array of club-related activity and, with the club returning to its rightful place at the top of English football on his watch, no one would disagree. So people didn't know what to expect with Slot seemingly directed to focus only on the on-pitch side of things. What actually is Arne Slot's role? A new report in The Telegraph, however, indicates that Slot's role isn't all too different to Klopp's. Yeah, it would be really weird, if not. Slot answered regarding if he has input into signings the club makes. There's no sporting director in the world, even if you have legally no input, that he would bring a player in or extend a player that you don't want. You always talk about these things. The good thing about being a head coach is that you can always say if these things, like questions about contracts, come up, go to the sporting director. Slot's mention of legal input is noteworthy here. Whilst it may not be an admission of his situation, it does indicate that putting that level of power in his contract may have been part of the discussions he had before joining the club. Naturally, though, the club didn't get where they are by signing players that the person running the football side of things doesn't particularly want. If you call me manager or head coach, that's different than how it was. Slot continued, I've always been a head coach and I've always been involved in contract situations like, who do you want to extend? But I'm not the one that is sitting in front of the agents talking about money. I don't think Jurgen Klopp did this. I think there is no difference. I don't know because I don't know how it worked. I know that we spoke for quite some time about manager or head coach. We've spoken about it a bit now, but for me it is the same. Slot clearly doesn't think his power is less than that of Klopp's and does think his role is largely the same. And like anybody in his role, he will indicate which players he wants to stay at the club and will work to replace players he wants to replace. So whilst it may be different on the pitch, the title seems to be the only real difference for the new head coach. Liverpool right-back highly rated by Pep Lijnders returns to training. Liverpool's academy setup has produced a number of stars in recent years. During Jurgen Klopp's reign, many youngsters such as Lewis Comer, Ben Doak, Bobby Clark and Tyler Morton to name a few were given the name Klopp's kids, paying homage to how well integrated they were with the manager and in the first team. However, one youngster who was highly rated by the German boss and his assistant Pep Lijnders has had extensive injury problems in recent seasons. However, could the player get a chance under Arne Slot? Maguire returns to training. Isaac Maguire has been spotted in first-team training for the first time since Slot took over in summer. Maguire, a longtime academy talent, became a favourite among avid watchers. However, he has struggled to stay fit for a number of years. He picked up a persistent ankle injury in October 2022, resulting him in being sidelined for the remainder of the 2022-23 campaign. His last appearance for the under-21s was in the 3-0 win against Manchester United U21s at Old Trafford, just his fifth appearance in 18 months. Maguire's cameo was cut short after he was forced off with a suspected hamstring injury. His frustration was clear, as the England international was seen kicking the advertising hoardings in disappointment and holding his head in his hands. Thanks for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.